Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
I went online to become a private detective. It was a private detective school online, and I paid online. And I never heard from them again. I thought to myself, I either got ripped off, or this is my first case. This is a journalistic podcast, Shannon. We vaccinate our listeners with answers. And I'm going to keep lip-syncing the important questions until TikTok gives me a show. Shannon, how can the moon landing be real if the moon itself is fake?
That's not true, Mike.
Oh, isn't it true, Shannon? You're fake. You're a hologram.
1 in 5 New Yorkers are food insecure. What's your solution for that, Mike?
Fortune cookie. Because that's food and advice at the same time. Shannon, at least have the decency to backstab me, okay? You stab me in the front every time. Some fans can't watch the podcast because they're triggered by our sexuality. And message to those fans, we will leak a sex tape right into your mouth.
This is Mike Vecchione Investigates.
And you're not better than me. Welcome to another fabulous episode of Mike Vecchione Investigates, guys. We're here, and we're at our new YouTube premiere time at 6 p.m. on Wednesday. It's good with dinner to investigate all of these things that just come through the media now, the mainstream media. I'm here. I'm in studio. I'd like to give a big thank you to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Gilda's Laugh Fest. It was unbelievable all weekend. We did shows, and we raised money for cancer and for people who have cancer and for people who support people who have cancer. So we did a lot of good all weekend. It was a great experience. The people at Gilda's Laugh Fest were so kind. All the shows were fantastic, and I was back on Saturday and in New York by Saturday. So Thursday to Saturday, I want to go to Grand Rapids. I want to go back to Grand Rapids because it seems like a great city full of wonderful human beings, not like New York where people slight each other and can't wait to betray, I'll use a biblical term, betray each other. In Grand Rapids, everybody seems nice. Everybody seems like they look out for their fellow brother, and just a great place it seems to live. Thinking about moving there if it wasn't for the crippling weather that keeps you inside. I found this about, and you can feel free to comment. I forgot to say that because that's new in podcasting, if the comments. Colder places, nicer people. Colder places, nicer people. I'm just saying that if you're listening to this podcast or watching it, some of you can't afford computers because you're low-income whites, and you're listening to it in a cold place, you're probably a great human being. But if you're watching it somewhere where it's warm, you probably suck. So that's all I'm saying. It's just an observation. Feel free to comment on my theory. It's a hypothesis. Shannon, do we know the difference between a hypothesis and a theory?
I think a theory is proven, a hypothesis is a guess, but let me find out.
No, I think you're right, Shannon. My science is coming back to me. So, but
hypothesis is like a question, I think.
A hypothesis is an assumption made before any research has been done. A theory is a principle formed to explain the things already shown in data.
An assumption is, a hypothesis is an assumption, Shannon. And when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. And a principal is the head of a school. So theory wins. Let me introduce our guest. He couldn't help but because he's a seeker of knowledge. He's a seeker.
I'm also Canadian, and your theory about people from cold areas.
Is it? Does it work?
Well,
or are you
no,
a shitty person?
I'm a shitty person, and most people from Quebec are as well. So.
Well, don't get me started on people with beards. They worship the devil. Get a close-up, Shannon.
I do.
They worship the devil. They'll say they don't, but they actually do.
There's some rumors spread about me that I'm part of the Synagogue of Satan.
Synagogue of Satan.
Yeah.
Do you wear a yarmulke or is it
I don't.
Horned yarmulke?
No, but that actually would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I did have a Toronto Blue Jays yarmulke when I was a kid.
Well, let me introduce you,
Yes.
because this is all our fans are reeling. They don't know who you are. Maybe some of them know you from your stand-up and from your podcast. Danny Polishchuk is here,
Hello.
ladies and gentlemen. Danny, we couldn't I couldn't hold you back. You were like the bull that's in the pen.
Yeah.
And the cowboy gets on and it's just like ready to go. You're ready to podcast.
I'm ready to podcast.
You're ready to podcast.
Jazzed up.
You're ready to podcast your ass off. And I mean ass with the S's or dollar signs.
By the way, I just love people don't see this, that you are actually writing these things. Like
I write this stuff down. Tactile learning. I went to a Montessori school.
Ooh.
A Montessori that I went there. That was on the fence, and I didn't know if Shannon how it was going to react. But we do not lobby Shannon, and thank God I prayed in those couple of seconds that she would come through and wouldn't leave me hanging. And she didn't disappoint me today.
No, she did not.
Danny, welcome. We don't really know each other, and I think the fans love it that way.
We met a couple times, been passing.
We met and been on a couple of shows together at the stand.
Yeah.
But we've never really interacted. You're Canadian. I found that out while I was passing you in the lobby getting coffee.
Yep.
What are your thoughts
on being Canadian?
Being Canadian.
On Canada or being Canadian?
Being Canadian. Being Canadian.
I think it's all right.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't want to say this because, like, obviously I live in America now and I love it here. But,
don't forget
if shit really ever hits the fan, I do like the fact that I can kind of
go north.
Yeah.
Right,
but also, we're probably fucked in Canada. So
you're part of us.
Yeah, so
you're actually part of us. Just our
we'll all
northern
get drafted.
brothers.
Probably the Canadians will get drafted first.
Right. So it might hit the fan. There's a lot going on in the news, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But do you think my theory about nice people being cold, because nice people, they need to be nicer. It's not because they're inherently nicer. It's because if you get kicked out of somewhere, you'll get frostbite and die.
Sure.
So you are forced to be nicer. Is that true?
No, I don't think so, because there's not many places. Maybe that would have held like 100 years ago when that getting kicked out of like an inn was truly fatal.
Why doesn't it hold today? The weather is still cold.
Because it's just like very rarely are you going to get kicked out of somewhere and die of the elements.
You could lose a finger.
Sure, certainly. I mean, that happens. I mean, it happens a lot where people, they get drunk and then they pass out and then they die.
That sounds personal. Did it happen to a friend?
No, but it definitely happens.
Okay, so what's your overall assessment of my theory? You think 100 years ago that was true?
I think your theory at one point did hold water.
Right, but now it doesn't.
Less so.
Less so.
Yeah.
It's a very measured response, but not a hypothesis.
No.
Right, Shannon? Which is an assumption.
Yours wasn't a hypothesis.
We have to spoon feed our fans, Danny.
That's okay.
And they're there.
That's fine.
They're in the cameras. Well, no, yours is here.
This is me.
Mine is right there. We spoon feed them. We interact with them during the podcast like they're here.
Yeah.
And,
but they're like babies to be fed.
Well, they're slower, low-income whites.
Sure.
Most of them.
That's your demographic?
That's my demographic.
Me too.
Even if they're black, they're low-income whites.
Sure.
Everybody gets to be a low-income white on this podcast, and we treat them as such.
That's good.
We spoon feed them. They probably are faking a disability, living in their mother's basement, eating Doritos, just like snack foods.
Yeah. Highly processed.
Highly processed foods. And that's the thing in New York. It's like, do you get that a lot? Do you have these health nut, air quotes if you don't have a computer? I'm using them.
Yeah.
Health nut friends who are like, is it processed? Are you eating processed? And that's the way they say it. They do it in a condescending tone. Danny, you're a healthy guy. You're big.
I'm a large man.
Your guns are out.
Yeah. I had the sweater on, but it's like steam bath in here.
Right. That's the way Shannon
it's humid.
makes it. She
it's
wants
legitimately like
she wants she wants men to be masculine.
This is like Miami in the summer in here.
It's Miami in the summer in here, Shannon. And what was my question?
Something about the processed foods.
So you're in shape.
I'm in
shape. You're in shape, guys. Yeah. You're a Canadian. You're like a hockey.
No, I was more a basketball, baseball guy, but I do love hockey. I just terrible at skating. That's the hard part. People don't realize you watch hockey and you go, that looks fun. But you're like, they're on skates.
Right. You have to be athletic to do it.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
And okay, so.
But in terms of processed foods, I do eat processed
you're in a good. Your guns are out.
I work out. But I eat too much.
3 sets of 10. What do you do weight?
You know what? I've been using this app called not to plug it, but it's called Fitbod, and then but they give you all these different workouts. So sometimes it'll be like 4 sets to failure. Sometimes it'll be like 3 sets of 10. Sometimes it's 5 sets of 10. It really just kind of gives you a lot of different looks as you were. Which I do like. Yeah.
Schizophrenic
It is, but it gives you a lot of, like, sometimes I'll be doing these exercises. I was like, I'll be doing exercises. I'm like, oh, I've never done this kind of specific, like, curl where it hits, like, the outside of your bicep. And
Yes. Do you go to what we call a gym?
I do, yeah.
In our
My
land,
building
we call it a gym.
My building has a gym in it.
Your building has a gym.
Yeah, it's not great, but no barbells, only dumbbells, unfortunately.
Wow. So everything's a dumbbell exercise.
Or there's like a couple machines in there, but for the most part, I'm doing mostly dumbbells.
And you will not, because there's a subpar gym, allow me to judge it.
Yeah.
A subpar gym in your building, you will not get an outside gym membership.
So I had one, and then I moved to this building, and I just haven't gotten around to it. We're kind of just using, but probably I will, yeah.
Yeah.
I probably will.
But it seems like this
upgrade.
app is working.
It's good. I like it, yeah. And
Do you
it's
do
like
any cardio?
Yeah, I do the treadmill. I do hit, run, I'll run like 1 minute on, 1 minute off, kind of top speed for me.
That's good for like if you ever want to do a mugging,
Yep.
or a robbery, something like it's like you're just running, and then you have to sprint.
Sure. Yeah,
You know, it's good. It's called interval training, but it's for
interval
crimes.
training. Yeah, for crimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have the body type or the constitution for a good criminal like that.
You're a big guy though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I'm not moving fast.
You're not
I got to
moving.
really pick like the right target.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
kinda problematic.
well, when you're robbing a place, I hate to school you here. This is just some prison info that I got. You're in a team. One guy is a wheel guy. You don't seem like you'd be the wheel guy.
No, that would be me.
You would be the wheel
I would
guy?
be the driver.
What about the safe cracker guy, the guy who gets us in?
No, I don't know if I'd be the safe because I feel like under pressure when you
Yeah.
have to really like crack that safe and you
Yeah.
have I feel like I would fold.
Well, you wouldn't fold. You would just have to get the blowtorch.
Right.
Or
But then
something,
then you blow up all the money inside and
Right.
then the whole thing was just a waste.
Then we'd have to kill you. We'd have to
Probably. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is
We'd have to eliminate
At
you.
least if I drove, then I get killed after I like drive us somewhere and maybe I'm spared, but
spared.
maybe I know too much.
Okay, so let's get back to processed food. This interview is moving fast. Our low-income whites are reeling. Do you hate it when some health person goes, "Are you eating processed food?" See, that's your problem. It's processed food. And it's like, hey, we live in Manhattan. There's no farms on 23rd and Broadway.
Sure.
Okay, everything is processed.
Yeah. Well, processed, yeah, to what degree? I guess, I mean, I think they're saying, oh, you could be eating a steak for every meal.
Right.
Because they're not really in touch. But no,
I actually do eat a steak for every
Really?
meal.
You're on the Jordan Peterson diet?
What's your beef with that? Pun intended? What's your beef with a man, carnivore,
Yeah.
a carnivore caveman eating a steak for every meal? Danny?
I would say the
Danny,
diarrhea.
or can I use a variation of your
Anything
name,
you
like
want.
Dan or Daniel? If
Those
it
are the
gets,
only two options.
if it gets
really.
formal,
Sure.
but not Davy.
That's a totally different name.
Right.
Yeah, that's someone else's name.
Davy is I'm gonna put a strike through it as if not to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you don't like meat. You're not a. You
I love
seem
meat.
like a
I
big
love
guy.
meat.
Are you
I
not a
love meat.
carnivore?
I am a carnivore. I just got a huge thing of Butcher Box stuff, so I'm going to town.
Because they sponsor your pod.
Correct.
Wow.
And I didn't know this,
Right.
but I was like, I just sent them an email saying like, hey, can I just get a bunch of meat?
Right.
They just sent it.
Hey, Butcher Box. We're people over here too, and we work out, and we are into a healthy,
Butcher
non-processed
Box, great
lifestyle.
product.
So we would like some meat too.
Yeah. Are we just gonna wait?
And we'll see if they get in touch with us.
Like this episode?
It's a dramatic.
Oh, okay.
It's a dramatic pause.
All right.
I don't know. I've been in a movie, so I don't know if you've been.
Well, I've been. I started a movie in Canada, but in Canada, so
Right.
it doesn't really count.
So 35 people saw.
Yeah, that's generous.
So you went to you're a very smart guy, because I could tell you parse your answers like you're a well thought out guy, because you went, it depends to what degree it's processed. Our fans eat nothing but junk food, by the way. So
Yeah,
this
they're
is
probably
going
just literally
way
licking
over their
licking
fat
the
heads.
like the flaming hot Cheeto dust off their fingers
Yes,
as we speak.
Yes, flaming hot Cheetos suck them in right away. They were eating regular Cheetos and they go flaming hot. They saw the commercial. They go flaming hot. Oh man, I got to go out and get some. And then they go out and get some. So let's educate them. To what degree do you eat processed food?
Ooh,
then?
like what percentage?
No, what would you say? How do you judge it?
Well, the degree. I guess I would say if you made like a pie chart of all of the foods you ingested, what slice of the pie? right? Like how much of the pie?
You've made
honestly, people don't even understand what I'm talking about.
You're
right
making
now.
our fans hungry.
They
by
probably
saying
don't even know
pie.
what I'm talking about.
You're saying pie.
Oh, right.
You're trying to talk healthy.
Yeah.
But I think that you're subconsciously triggering them to have dessert, which is what they basically eat all the time.
My rule of thumb is I eat very well at home, and
Right.
then I tend to eat poorly.
Home is Canada?
No, that's in New York.
Oh, in
where
New
I
York.
live
You're living
here.
with your in-house gym.
And my girlfriend. Yeah.
And your girlfriend. Who?
In-house girlfriend.
In-house girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she cooks.
No.
Not that they have to. This is March, and this is Women's Awareness, and we are
History
aware
Month.
of you. Where's the camera? We are aware of you,
It's History
ladies.
Month. Women's History Month.
It's but we also have to be aware of them.
We have to be aware
They
of them
are here.
all year round.
We have to be aware of them all year round, and it shouldn't just be 1 month. It's too short for my liking.
I celebrate them all year.
Now,
As you should.
she is your girlfriend, and she is a woman. I'm just asking if she does cook. Not that she has to.
She does
because
have to.
women can be astronauts also. Did
And
you
they
know
could
that,
be the
Danny?
top chefs in the world. They aren't for some reason,
Right.
but they could be.
They could be,
But they
It's
aren't.
probably because they aren't because they're too busy being astronauts. I think women are astronauts according to
That
Super Bowl commercials.
Is a
2 years ago.
hypothesis.
It's an assumption.
One of them.
Shannon, why is assumption a Catholic term? Feast of the Assumption? Feast, we assumed?
That's a good. You know what? That's a question I'd like to know because
It
in my
really-
high school,
Right.
there was a Catholic school called
Right.
Assumption.
And you're a Jewish.
I'm a Jewish, yes,
And you're
but
a-
I went to a public high school.
Right. And
It was non-denominational, except everybody was Christian, except for
Everybody
me
was
and
Christian
four
except for
other
you.
people.
now, where is that?
That's
Saskatoon?
in Burlington, Ontario, Canada. That's probably 3,000 kilometers east of.
of please do
Saskatoon?
everything in kilometers so our fans can
so
move the decimal point.
So
one
your
part to the
fans are
right.
probably completely lost right now, but the
30 kilometers?
the civil 3,000, but the civilized
3,000 kilometers?
Yeah, the civilized world uses kilometers.
I feel like you just took a shot at our fans and the United States of America, Danny.
What the fuck is a
And-
mile?
A mile. I mean, that's how we measure stuff, right? We have our own system, and
I know
we
that.
will not budge
I'm
from
aware.
it.
It's
A kilometer is 3/4 of a mile.
causes me much consternation.
Consternation is a word that just you threw our fans into a tailspin, so they don't know what consternation is at all.
Sorry, fans.
Shannon, what's consternation? We look stuff up here. We are ignorant, but
Yep.
we're happy to learn. Danny, you said consternation. Feelings of anxiety or dismay, and typically at something unexpected. Like saying the word consternation. We weren't
Sure.
expecting it.
Yeah.
It caused us a lot of anxiety.
Yep.
And you could have just said anxiety. But you chose...
I didn't know that
Were
was
you
the definition.
condescending us
No.
because we're American?
No,
And we don't know
well,
what
I was
kilometer
on the
is?
kilometer thing. Yeah.
Right.
When I said the civilized world part, I was there. Yes.
Now
But,
you're wearing that shirt, and
yeah.
I hate to hold your feet to the fire here
Please do.
because it says "Visit the Moon."
Yeah.
Women can be astronauts. I noticed that this is an observatory podcast. We're very observational.
Okay.
Does it make you mad that we got to the moon before you did? Canadian?
My family's actually
Did-
from Russia, and they got there first, so
You guys sent a monkey first. You didn't send a man first.
it's identified as a person.
The monkey identified as a person.
That's what the
Is that-
That's what they say.
God.
This smoke break is brought to you by YoDelta.com, the official Getting High sponsor of the Gas Digital Network.
You figured out a way to beat me on that one. I thought I had you cornered, and you really said you know. God. All right, so you went to a public high school. Any shame in that you didn't have the money to go to?
No, I actually went to a private elementary school, but it was only Jews. And then after 9 years of that, I was like, that's about it.
You had to get.
Yeah, I was
you
like,
know.
that's too. Well, the alternative is you go to like a yeshiva,
Right.
which is essentially like you're really serious about this stuff, which I was not at all.
What is a yeshiva? It sounds like something you would say if you're Jewish and you sneeze. Yeshiva. Yeshiva.
It's like a high school. It's like a continuing education for Jews who are like
Wow.
serious about like being like if you want to be a rabbi, that's
Right.
like you got to do that. Not necessarily you will be a rabbi, but
Right.
that's the path. It's a really like
Do you know Hebrew?
I used to be almost fluent in it, and
Right.
I could not speak a word of it now because I haven't since I was 12. But I think if I went to Israel for like 6 months,
Yeah.
I would leave there speaking
Fluent.
Hebrew. Yeah, pretty fluent.
You can write it? Can you write
Yeah, I
Hebrew?
could write. Not anymore. I couldn't write. I couldn't read it, but I feel like it would come back if I needed it to. I just have no reason to know it right now.
What's because there's not many Jewish people in New York?
There's not very many Jewish people in New York, correct? And also, they don't speak English. They're
Right.
Hebrew. They speak like Yiddish.
Right.
And stuff.
Can you speak Yiddish?
No.
No.
I can't speak Yiddish. That's kind of a dying language.
It's a dying language. What was it like in a Jewish elementary school? Circumcisions every day, I imagine.
Yeah, it's the worst part is the reverse. It's like when they have to prep you for because they bring it back and then they do it again. Yeah.
God.
Yeah. It's barbaric
tough.
in hindsight.
It's barbaric, but it is part of your faith, and we have to respect it.
What you do.
Amazing. How'd you get your start in stand-up? Were you doing other things?
I got my start in stand-up.
How long have you been in New York with
I've
this?
lived in New York for 3 years.
Oh, wow, that's pretty-
3.5 years.
You came during the pandemic?
I came right before the pandemic. Right before
Good luck for you,
September.
right?
Honestly,
Get here and then
it
lock
is
down.
Funny you
Is that
say
why you
that
came here?
because when the pandemic started, I
Mhm.
lived here for 5 months and I was like, this sucks.
Right.
But then, and I felt very slighted by God, the Jewish one. And
Right.
but then seeing what happened in Canada, I was like, thank God I'm not in Canada because Canada was so much worse.
Right.
And
The
I could have
lockdowns.
been there. The lockdowns. I mean, the very underrated part of America that Americans probably take for granted is that if you're somewhere cold
Right.
and you'd like to go somewhere warm,
Right.
you can do that
Yeah.
whenever you want and not leave the country.
Yeah.
You can't do that in Canada.
Montreal is your Florida? Talk to me.
No, our Florida is unfortunately either like Windsor, Ontario, which
Mm.
is a shithole, or you could go all the way west to like somewhere like Vancouver Island,
Vancouver Island.
which it's still not warm.
No,
it's just
not
raining.
warm. It's very rainy and windy there.
But that is
a great city.
Yeah, but the dead of winter, that's your option for like if you just want to beat the cold.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not great. So anyways, it was one of those things where I was actually very fortunate to not be in Canada. Because I had friends too who were like in their visa process and then that stopped it.
Right.
So then they were trying to get out and they just kind of missed the cutoff and they had to wait
You're making Canada
years.
sound like a prison.
It was.
People were
And
trying to get out
It's
and
being
it stopped
heavily,
and they were-
I don't know what you know about this, but
Right.
it's currently being heavily influenced by the Chinese Communist Party.
Is
in
it
terms of
really?
our politics. Like, you know how like they were saying Russia influenced the elections
Yeah.
here? Even though that was like not true really? They really are doing it in Canada, like big time.
Did you guys get balloons?
Well,
Because we got a balloon. I don't know if you read our news.
Yeah, and
We got a
it
balloon.
was over Canada for a large portion.
Yeah.
and we allowed it because,
You guys don't have any guns to shoot it down?
and we're kind of like Chinese puppets.
You're Chinese puppets?
Not me personally, but the government.
Isn't that a
is.
good name for a band?
Yes. Would you consider renaming your podcast to that?
I would do anything to get numbers at this point.
All right. Welcome everybody to Chinese Puppets.
Chinese Puppets is the new name of the podcast. Shannon, can we do a new intro? Chinese Puppets.
Yeah, you should first guess. You should try and get a Steve Bannon
Why?
because he's very against the communist.
Okay, he's
party.
against China.
Yeah, he's not a big fan.
Should we get somebody who's for China? Chinese Puppets?
Maybe. That would be, I guess, true to the name. Yeah.
Or we could just call ourselves Geppetto. Because
I don't know that reference.
Pinocchio,
Never heard of it.
an Italian boy, he wanted to become. This is probably how I'm going to have children.
Have you seen the new Pinocchio?
No, I won't. I like the old one.
Like
I don't
the
like
car- the
these
Disney
remakes of
cartoon.
stuff. Yeah, I don't like the
But
remakes.
this is like an actual marionettes and stuff, right?
marionette.
Or whatever, like
Yeah.
versus the old one was a
Right.
cartoon.
The older one is a cartoon, but I think it was a musical also. They make everything into
This isn't a
musical.
musical?
Well, I was waiting for COVID the musical to come out with
I bet
Nathan
you
Lane.
that is probably on Broadway. or
Nathan
off.
Lane as Dr. Fauci. Wow, this is going. We are really doing some intercontinental sparring here, and this is a great podcast.
Do your listeners know what's going on at all?
Now they're
Like, is this just kind of background?
they're in a food coma because they eat wrong
Yeah.
and they don't sleep that well. But
How many hours
how
of
do you
sleep
think
get?
that you're doing so far?
On the show today?
Yeah,
6 out of 10.
I think you're doing great. I think you're not giving yourself enough credit.
Oh, okay.
You defended your land very well. You've
Yeah.
been candid about it.
Uh-huh.
I would shave the beard because it looks like you're hiding something.
Yeah, I
But-
am. It's called a double chin.
But what, Danny? What about
Shannon.
you're going to encourage our fans just to grow beards now and not
That's
work
the
out?
point of it.
But you do work out.
I do
What
work
about
out.
repetitions till fail, like
Yeah.
you said from your app. Now you've switched.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if the double chin goes away, then maybe the beard comes off, but that's not what's happening. So
You said that your girlfriend cooks.
she does not cook.
She does not cook.
No, hell no.
But she is a woman.
yes, she
and
should.
women shouldn't have to cook. And are you handy in the kitchen?
Yes, I'm quite a good
And
cook.
what do you make? Poutine?
What do I could make poutine. That was a low blow. I've never made poutine in my
That's
life.
a suicide mission, poutine. It's
Why is that
it's
not
a cardiovascular nightmare, and I think it should be illegal in Canada.
and
I'll say it.
That's a little far, but why isn't it the most popular food in America?
How many kilometers?
1,000.
It's a little far.
Yeah, but
Fetched.
poutine should be like the most popular food in America.
Oh, because we're fat and stupid.
Yes.
Was that a shot at us?
Yes.
I mean, be candid. If you're going to call us fat
Yes.
and stupid, look
Yes.
at the fans. Look at the
Your
low-income
fans,
whites who
if
watch the
the
show and
low-income
tell them
whites-
they're fat and stupid.
The low-income whites, I'm telling you, you would love poutine if you've never had it. It's literally French fries, cheese curds, and gravy.
We have disco fries here, Danny.
What are disco fries?
So it's French fries, like mozzarella and brown gravy.
Yeah.
It's just not the cheese. The
Oh,
curds.
so you got to get the curds, like the Wisconsin curd. You know, you
Yeah.
get them, like, then they squeak. That's how you know they're good. It's like when you bite them, they like literally squeak.
You like to watch cheese suffer? The squeak. And Shannon had to chime in with a Staten Island favorite, didn't you, Shannon?
Mozzarella.
Mozzarella.
I like that.
So your eating is not on par.
No. So at home, I make only fairly healthy things. I'll like a lot of vegetables, rice, proteins, fish,
Right.
chicken, beef.
Right.
And then my girlfriend is like a vegetarian, but then sometimes she eats fish, but then she like oftentimes will pretend that she's a vegan. It's very obnoxious.
She an actress?
Fuck no, I would never. Sorry,
That's
you
okay.
can bleep that out. But
No, it's all good. Because I'm dating a comedian actress.
oh,
So it's like I was wondering if she says I'm a vegetarian one day, then she eats fish the other day, and
it's
then
like for a
it's
method.
It could be a method.
No,
It could
No.
be improv. Maybe she improvs her diet.
she does improv her diet.
yeah,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
doesn't let you know.
Yeah.
but she probably has pretty good range, is what it sounds like.
She has a very limited range, but sometimes, like, she's not a vegan, but then sometimes she'll make a dish and she'll say, "This is vegan."
Right.
And I'm like, but it would have been better. Like, she'll be like, "Here's a dish. I used vegan cheese, which sucks."
Right.
And I was like, but you're not vegan.
Yeah.
So just use the cheese we have in the
But do
refrigerator.
you find that helps a relationship when you attack the other person's identity? Just yes or no. Just yes or no, and then
yes,
explain.
Yes.
It does help.
It does help. Yeah, you need a
How
little,
does she
you need a little
respond?
friction.
How does she respond when you go, "You're not a vegan"? She brings you dinner and goes, "There's vegan cheese in this," and you go, "Excuse me, you're a fraud." How does she respond to that, Danny?
She would have to bring me dinner first.
Yeah.
This is more like she made me a snack.
Ooh.
I'm more the dinner
Beggars
guy.
can be choosers, I guess, Shannon.
I'm more the dinner guy, and then sometimes I'm making her food, and she goes, "Can you use like?" And this is you're not gonna like this.
Right.
I don't know, but she'll be like, "Can you use my vegan butter?"
Oh, my
And I'm
God.
like, "That's just like palm oil.
Yes.
Can we just use regular butter?
Yeah.
You're not vegan. We have like the really good like carrot
Right.
gold grass-fed butter." And then she's like, "Can you use this palm oil that's whipped up? It's essentially margarine." And I was like, "No, I don't want to." And then she's like, "But I want to have vegan." But I'm like, "You're not vegan."
What are these miracles thinking sometimes? That's what I call women now. Miracles. What are these miracles thinking? It's like, I need you to use this, and you don't want to use it. It's like, why don't we just put WD-40 in it, right?
Honestly, that like whoever is marketing vegan butter, they're geniuses. Because that was margarine 5 years ago.
Right.
And we were like, that's poison. And then now they're like, this is health food.
Yeah. I can't
crazy.
believe it's not vegan butter.
It's
yeah. Did we just do a startup?
And then but
Is
it's
that a
just
startup?
but it's just butter.
Yes.
It is just regular butter.
Right.
Called,
I can't believe it's not vegan butter.
That's something.
We just invented something.
I think we did.
Should we market it?
We are it's all marketing.
Oh.
But yes.
Will it be an app before this
Honestly,
podcast is over?
there's a lot of stupid miracles out there
Yeah.
who would buy that because of that marketing.
The miracles.
The miracles.
So she not only doesn't cook, but she's cantankerous.
Yep.
Which is a word. About what you cook.
Well, so the really annoying thing, does your miracle, does she eat the same as you, dietarily wise?
She eats a little bit different, but it's
not like
it's kind of the same.
kind of the same.
We both have to be aware of sugar. Like she's very lean and she has high standards for herself. And
Why'd you laugh when you said that?
because I'm thinking about what she's saying. She goes, "I can't eat any more sugar. I can't." But meanwhile, she is in great shape.
Sure.
I understand why, because it makes her feel. It doesn't.
Yeah.
The food doesn't make her feel good. But physically, like she's very lean and athletic. So,
Well,
but
she wants to keep it that way.
She wants to keep it that way. But for me, like I will blow up if I eat wrong.
Yeah,
You
me
know,
too.
I'm older and I'm masculine, and
Have you considered Ozempic?
Ozempic. I like it because it sounds like Olympic,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah.
I would consider it. I need to get a little bit more successful, I think, to get a prescription. Your thoughts?
I don't think you need. I don't know what. Do you have
Success?
insurance?
Yeah.
I think they'll just pay for it.
Ozempic?
Yeah.
But doesn't your doctor have to recommend it? And it has to be a Hollywood doctor?
No, you could go online and just get someone like pay $200 and they'll just give you a prescription.
$200?
Probably, and then you have a prescription for it.
Right.
From what I understand, now I have a feeling there's going to be some crazy long-term effects where people are like, didn't see that coming.
Right.
And then like a lot of people are really messed up because of it. But if you're willing to take that risk, from what I understand about it, you just take a shot and then you just like don't really think about food.
That's pretty great.
I know, honestly.
But
I
would like an Ozempic that if you take a shot, you don't think about food, but you think about other things.
Like what?
The climate.
I think that's if you mixed it with
something like that.
marijuana.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, is the marijuana, marijuana.
Well, I'm saying you.
They get munchies. So you're not thinking
But
about food. You
Ozempic-
do the marijuana. Now you're thinking about food.
No, because the Ozempic will cancel out the munchies, but you'll think about the climate. You
Because
do
of
marijuana, Ozempic,
Yeah.
and then you are not thinking about food, but you are thinking about the climate.
I think you start thinking about Woodstock.
Maybe.
31 minutes in, Shannon. You're going to love me for this. Quickly, let me get to this because we need to know how you got here 3 years ago, which is shocking to me. I thought you were here longer than that.
No.
And then you started stand-up in Canada?
Yeah, in Toronto.
And how many years have you been doing it?
I started in 2009.
Okay.
So a while. And just kind of the standard open mics.
Right.
And just, all that
Everybody's
stuff.
I've been to Canada to perform a lot. Everybody seems very supportive there.
Oh, they're not.
They're not?
No.
They undermine you?
No. You just hung out with the backstabbers, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, they're not supportive. I mean, they're actually not supportive because here you can kind of do your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's new, do your own thing, by the way.
Oh, here? Not do your own thing, like in terms of have your own show, like on YouTube. I mean, like you can have your own ideas and be kind of out there and not like, kind of go with everybody else. And that's fine. Like there will be a spot for you.
Right.
Whereas in Canada, they're not. It's very homogenous in terms of like if you are not part of this, then you are just
You're on the
you're on the outs.
You're out in the snow.
Snow, yeah,
100 kilometers away.
Sometimes it's sleet too.
civilization.
It's like sometimes the water, the rain and snow
Mesh together
and it becomes sleet, which is the
and
worst.
become a gender.
Well, that's kind of what I was
Gender
getting
is
at.
fluid.
Gender is fluid. There's a sleet gender,
And it's
if you
not
don't-
snow and it's not rain, it's non-binary.
sure. And if in Canada you go, hey, this sleet gender stuff seems a bit out there, they'll be like, hey, you can't really participate in this industry anymore.
Yeah, and you can't use a bathroom.
Yep.
Okay. Let's go to plugs, Shannon. I'm at Comic Mike V on all social media platforms. If you've been living under a rock and watching this podcast and you don't follow me, I don't know what you're waiting for. At Comic Mike V, MikeVecchione.com for dates. I will be in Madison, Wisconsin, Comedy on State, March 23rd through 25th. Tampa, March 30th through April 1st, Side Splitters, and then Moon Tower, April 19th through 22nd. So those 3 dates. If you're in Wisconsin, Tampa, Florida, Austin, Texas, come out and see me. MikeVecchione.com for all dates. My special drops March 24th, YouTube. Mike Vecchione, The Attractives, directed, produced by 800-pound gorilla Nate Bargatze. Be sure to tune in. I believe it's going to be on Nate Bargatze's YouTube page. So, Mike Vecchione special, mark it on your calendar if you guys have one, March 24th. I will be live commenting I guess is what people do
In the chat.
while the special airs. Please continue to support this podcast at our new time, YouTube, 6 p.m. Gas Digital or YouTube. YouTube would be good. 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. And thank you, all of you guys who have jumped over. And for those of you who have a scheduling error, I guess you have to watch it at some other time. But thank you for tuning in. We appreciate and love you. And I mean it sincerely. I'm making eye contact when I say we love you. We love you. So thank you for being here and for being part of the low-income whites that follow this podcast. Thank you. Danny, what do you have?
You can follow me, Danny Jokes, everywhere, Instagram, Twitter, and all that stuff. And then if this comes out on Wednesday, on Wednesday nights at 10:30 p.m. on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com /_ or @ Danny, because I have these stupid handles now. So _ Danny is my handle. I have a show called The Bathhouse, which is you should do sometime if you're ever around. It's live from the green room of the Stand Comedy Club.
Yes.
And it is a call-in bad advice show. People call in. We just hang out in the green room, talk shit. It's a fun time. Boys Cast with Ryan Long every Friday. And Low Value Mail, which is another call-in show I do, which is kind of like weird conspiracies and stuff on Tuesday nights.
It's great.
Just go to my YouTube channel. You'll find
Awesome.
it. Yeah.
Shannon.
You can follow me on Instagram at Shannon Lee 6982. Listen to my podcast, The Thing Is, Ding. We talk about bad dates, fighting, and ghosts. Wherever you listen to Mike Vecchione Investigates, you can also watch it live for free every single Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern at gasdigitalnetwork.com/live. That's absolutely for free. The best way to support the show is to go to gasdigitalnetwork.com, use promo code MVI. You'll get a 1-week free trial, which gives you access to every episode of this show we've ever done, as well as every episode of every show on the Gas Digital Network, all for free for 1 week. If you listen on iTunes or YouTube, make sure to rate, review, tell a friend, leave a comment, subscribe. Every little bit of interaction helps the show to grow. If you have questions, comments, or your own video investigation to submit, send it into MikeVecchioneInvestigates at gmail.com. Go to podcastmerch.com for t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs, and that's it.
Yes. All right. Now we're going to do, Danny, we've brought you in, not only because you are an entertainer, a comedian, podcaster, but because of we need you to investigate.
Okay.
So we're going to bring up topics and articles, and then we will go through them, and we will investigate these hot topics that are in the news right now. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Shannon, what's the first one?
First one is top Silicon Valley bank execs worked at notoriously troubled Lehman Brothers and Deutsche Bank.
Okay, now what happened with this bank, Shannon? The bank just closes?
No,
Can banks declare bankruptcy?
There was a run on the bank.
What's a run on? I thought that was a sentence.
That is a sentence. Basically, I know quite a bit about this, actually. So,
Danny, thank you.
Silicon Valley Bank, which is one of the biggest small business banks in San Francisco area, Silicon Valley. It's fairly complicated. We're actually doing a podcast on this later, and I've been reading about this all day. But they made poor investments, even though they just take depositors. Like, so you say you have a small business, and you go you deposit money in the bank.
Can I cut you off a second with because our fans you're going to lose us quick. I can tell by the velocity.
It's super complicated. It's like
okay, but we're going to break it down. We have to spoon feed our fans, but don't you think Silicon Valley Bank, a better name would be Fake Breast Trust? Because it's silicon.
Oh. Let's see if
silicon is okay. I was just
you wrote that down?
Yeah, I wrote it down. Okay. I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget it. And let's get into the banking now.
Anyways, they made some poor decisions,
right?
And then all these venture capitalists in Silicon Valley were like, "Hey, our money might not be safe in the bank." Like, you ever see It's a Wonderful Life?
Yes.
So that's all about a bank run, but that's a bank run where people are like, "My money. I'm worried about getting my money." But these were businesses,
right?
So then they had all these. They all know each other. These Silicon Valley people. So then they had like a Slack channel where they're all talking, and then they just basically
why did they lose confidence?
Because there's essentially, and literally, I'm going to lose everybody who's watching right now, but so there's a game theory element of this where everybody goes like, if I don't pull my money out,
right,
but other people think that they're like, well, I'll pull my money out because I don't want to risk not pulling my money out if other people pull their money out. And then so everybody starts pulling their money out.
Right.
And because of fractional reserve banking, they don't actually have all this money. So then they had like $42 billion. They had like $200 billion of assets or whatever, but $42 billion got pulled out in like 2 days.
Right.
And then they became insolvent and they had no money.
Insolvent?
Yeah.
They couldn't solve it.
They could not solve it, which is
They were insolvent.
they basically became insolvent, and then the government had to take them over because even though you think America is not a socialist country, it is to a degree. The government.
You're rocking our world right now.
I'm sorry about that, but the government took it over. The government also took over Signature Bank Corp, which is a big New York bank, over the weekend, which is pretty crazy because Barney Frank, who used to be,
Yes.
if you know him, he passed after the 2008 financial crisis. There's a thing called Dodd-Frank, which was basically all these rules to make sure that this kind of thing never happens
Right,
again.
right.
He is one on the board of Signature Bank Corp that went under yesterday, that the government basically took over. So, which is crazy because you're on the board of this company. But he says, now this is a conspiracy thing, he's basically saying that we were fine, and that because they're a crypto-friendly bank, and the government wants to shut down all this crypto stuff because there's another bank called Silvergate that also went under, which was a crypto bank. He's saying that they were fine and that the government forced them to be taken over because they are anti-crypto, and that's a conspiracy element.
Wow. This gets muddled fast.
It's really complicated.
I
like
still was reeling over insolvent. I mean, we need to solve it.
Yeah, we do need
And
to
it
solve
can't be
it.
insolvent.
But it is solved because what happened is the
government's going to take
the government came in and they said we're going to back all, because there's all bank accounts in America have a thing called FDIC.
FDIC, I know that.
Right. I was actually outside of there today. I was trying to poke around because I was at the dentist. But so your bank account is covered up until $250,000.
Right.
It's meant for people, right? Because
Yes.
most people don't have more than $250,000 in
Right.
the bank. But then
Especially our fans.
definitely not. But so at this not Silvergate, the Silicon Valley Bank or whatever, they had like 98% of their deposits were not insured because they were over the $250,000 threshold.
God.
So essentially, if the government didn't come in and backstop this bank and guarantee all these deposits, then all the people, because like when you go put money in the bank, you don't think you're taking a risk.
Right.
Like you're not like, oh, maybe. Like, it's not an investment. You're not buying Pokemon cards or
Right.
something. Like, you're like, I'm just putting my money in the bank. so I
Yeah,
can
because
do-
Pokemon cards would be fun. Putting your money in a
Probably.
bank sucks.
Yes, but like, you don't think you're taking on this kind of risk where you're like, oh, maybe I'll lose all my money.
Right.
You assume that like
FDIC, federally banked.
Right.
The United States will
Well,
back
but
it.
most people don't know about that. And I'm kind of conflicted on this whole thing because like the people in Silicon Valley caused the run on this bank and then basically went and complained to say like, hey, we need the government to step in and help us out. But you're like, you kind of caused this. But then
Yeah, but did they cause it or should their money be there? I put my money in a bank and I
well,
go to
the problem
visit
is
it.
their money
It should
kind
be there.
of is there.
Is it liquid?
Well, so
Is
what
it
happened?
not? Is it tied up in
It's
something?
tied up in government treasury bills. So basically, they took all this money because they take the deposits and they need to make some money. So then they took it. They bought 10-year bonds from the federal government or like whatever, the Treasury Department.
That seems safe.
Yes, except for that the Treasury, the Federal Reserve then went and cranked up interest rates so much that the value of these bonds were like way lower than what they paid for them. Right. And they're locked in for 10 years. Like they should be buying 3-month bonds, not 10-year bonds.
Right.
It was a very poor decision. And realistically, the government, they should be made to fail because like they're just a business and they just made a poor business decision. But then the unfortunate like knock-on effects of letting all these depositors lose all their money and like not being able to make payroll and stuff. Like they're not all like rich fat cats, but some of them are. But a lot of them are just like people who work at like a small startup who just
Right.
like don't get paid now.
Right.
And if they allowed that to happen, then every person who has a non-insured account, the money in any non-insured account in any other bank,
Just loses everything.
no, they would be like, okay, well, we're taking our money out because why would I in any world risk this happening? Well, like, because I'm not getting anything to take this risk. So then that's a run on the bank. And then all these other banks would go under. And today, like, there will be more banks that'll go under for sure. Like there's now 2, there's like many others that are kind of knocking on death's door at the moment, even though the government stepped in and
Is this going to go to 2008?
no, because the difference in
not.
2008 is they were taking all these crazy risks in 2008.
Right.
This is different. They weren't taking crazy risks. They were buying the safest thing
Right.
available. They timed it poorly.
Because
and
everybody just started gossiping, which is something little miracles do sometimes.
yep.
And they gossiping, and then they just decided to take their money out all at the same time.
Well, it wasn't. Well,
Isn't the internet to blame for this? Because they're on chat rooms.
The internet did cause the speed of this for sure, but also what happened is that, like Silicon Valley Bank, they needed to basically raise some money, and then so they did which then was like a big warning flag to everybody, being like, why do you guys need to raise money? And why are they selling all these long dated bonds at these huge losses just to get money?
Right.
So people are like, something's going on here. And a lot of times with this stuff, your best bet is to just like, take all your money out and then figure it out after.
Right.
And a lot of people did. There's a lot of people, stories where they go, yeah, I took all my money. I can't risk not paying my employees.
Yeah, the financial world is they're jumpy.
Yeah. As they should be, because there's so many scam artists.
Right.
So, and they did. And then the government stepped in, and so nobody really lost, except for if you owned shares of the company. Like I think the shares of that Silicon Valley Bank were like $600 3 months ago. Now
Didn't they give
zero.
everybody bonuses before all this happened?
Well, no, but
how are you going to defend that, Danny?
A lot of their senior people or whatever took, they have like scheduled stock sales where they schedule. And so the CEO sold like $3.5 million worth of stock like 2 weeks ago. And he's probably profited hugely. And there's a good chance that they're going to claw all that back.
Well, does that guy go to a white-collar prison somewhere?
I don't know if he did anything illegal. He just was incompetent. I don't think anything illegal happened, whereas in 2008, illegal things did happen, and they still didn't go to jail because all their friends are the people who send them to jail. So, yeah.
Wow.
Does anybody know what's going on, you think? Or they're just still licking the Cheeto dust off their fingers?
I think you've lost most of us.
Yeah.
But that was a great explanation.
Sure.
It was a great explanation for like if you were like at Harvard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have.
But,
do you know who Martin Shkreli is?
Yes.
He's
that
coming
guy.
on. The Pharma Bro guy.
Yeah.
He's coming on our podcast later today.
Get out.
Yeah, so I was trying to
through Skype or
No,
Zoom?
he's coming in person. He's got his ankle bracelet off. He's a free man.
Is he really?
Yep.
I wonder what he does in his personal, like Martin what's his name? Shkreli?
Shkreli? What he does in his personal? He's like an investor.
Yeah, but like does he go to the hot clubs? And stuff,
I think
girls?
so. He's a really funny guy. Legitimately.
You're defending him?
Yeah, no, he's been on our podcast before.
Oh, you love him?
Yeah, I like him. I mean, what, you don't believe in second chances?
Well, didn't he do a bunch of didn't he like jack the AIDS
He jacked
The AIDS-
it wasn't the AIDS drug, it was
the AIDS drug, he made it like $1 billion.
No,
and
he
people
made this
couldn't
one
get it.
drug that cures toxoplasmosa, which is like the crazy cat lady disease. Or whatever.
Crazy cat lady disease?
Yeah, you get it from cat piss, and it's what they think makes people crazy cat ladies.
Mm-hmm.
And it does make you crazy. But he, jacked up this one price of this drug, but there was one, you could call him and he would give it to you for free. And then
You just had to get his number.
Yeah, he put his number. Like you could literally, and he had call centers, and you could get it for free if you couldn't afford it, because it was mostly just to not scam insurance companies, but take advantage of how crazy the healthcare system is in this country.
That's crazy.
But
Did he jack the prices on that because he assumed that the people had 9 lives? It's a cat.
I was just waiting for that. Yeah,
It was a cat joke.
yeah, but I've spoken with him about it, and he said that he's like, there was a generic version of that drug, which is the exact same drug, and he's like, you could buy it for like 30 cents a pill.
Wow.
He was mischaracterized, and honestly, he talked his way into prison. If he just
Talked his way into prison?
Oh yeah, if he just kept his mouth shut, he would have never gone to prison. But he just got kind of wrapped up. I mean, he went on Twitter and
Didn't he buy the Wu-Tang album?
Yes, he bought the Wu-Tang album, and it was sold. He sold it for several $1 million. And
that went for several $1 million.
Well, he paid $1 million.
I thought that
for
was
it.
but I thought that was a thing that didn't. It was like, this is a vintage piece of art.
No, because you know what
and,
happened?
Kind of didn't work.
Some crypto bros bought it as like this thing called like a decentralized autonomous organization thing or whatever. They raised all this money and they bought it for several $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's definitely not worth jack shit. But
No.
he tweeted out that he wanted a lock of Hillary Clinton's hair, and that's what did him in. He said, "Someone get me some of her hair."
Right.
I think as a joke, but like he straight up said, his lawyer was like, "If you just kept your mouth shut, you wouldn't have gone to jail at all."
Jokes can get you put in jail,
Absolutely, they can.
especially if Hillary Clinton's hair.
I mean, do you see
A
this
lock of her
meme
hair.
guy who's going to jail right now for apparently 10 years for making memes?
No.
Yeah, I just heard about this today.
Were they good? Because if
Well, they
they're bad, you
apparently
should
got
kind of-
Donald Trump elected. They were that good.
Oh, wow.
That they got Trump elected, and then
good memes.
Yeah,
Good
but,
memes.
But now
Bad jail.
he did these memes where he made memes that essentially were like, if you're gonna vote, if you're a Democrat and you want to vote for the Democrats,
Right.
you can just text in your vote. You don't need to vote.
Right.
Like
And
as
then-
a joke,
right.
And then they're like, that's voter suppression, and now they're like sending him to jail for like apparently a decade.
Wow.
This is the free America you think you live in.
And then he's not going to be able to vote because he's a felon.
That's a nice little layer of irony right there.
I swung it around.
Yeah.
I swung it around the back.
Yeah. But that one I don't know much about. I only heard about that this afternoon. His name is, I don't even know. I can find out for you.
A meme.
Douglas Mackey.
Yeah, Douglas Mackey. That's the one.
AKA Ricky Vaughn.
Ricky Vaughn, like
Ricky
from
Vaughn.
The Wild Thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What do you think his name will be in prison? Marlboro?
Cupcake.
I said Marlboro because cigarettes is currency.
So
Crypto.
So are
in
cupcakes.
Prison.
So are cupcakes.
Are you going to ask the Martin's Scungili? Are you going to ask him how the food was in prison? I'm like, you're very smart, I could tell.
Yeah.
I'm more of like an everyman.
Yeah.
So I would be like, prison, how was the food? And do you think, and I've asked this to other guests, so
sure.
Would you request a transfer to a country that has better food? Like me, I would request a transfer to prison in Italy.
Yeah.
Because I think the food would be better.
Is it like, I wonder, I guess it probably is, right? Like, are you just eating carbonara and just gnocchi for lunch?
Probably. Probably isn't that bad.
I love it.
It's
I
great.
love Italy so much.
It's great food. I think I would
favorite place.
request a transfer to Italy, Mediterranean climate.
Yeah. Like
And
how
the
Brittany
food.
Griner, how it was like a prisoner swap.
Yes.
Like go get some prisoner who wants to come to America.
But I didn't think that was a good trade. I wanted Brittany to get out. I thought it was crazy that they gave
I don't
her
know
as
if
much
it,
time.
yeah.
But we gave like the worst guy for one of our high-level
I mean, I don't know if you know
players.
like what his stats are right now, and
He's insane,
putting
right?
up crazy
He's
stats.
He's a terrible guy.
18
right?
rebounds a game.
Wow, I didn't know. I didn't know he was also a basketball player. Danny.
Yeah, they trade players for players.
Oh, it's the trade. I'm not in a fantasy league. Let's move on from this. You've illuminated us. Is that confusing you?
No.
You've illuminated us as far as the bank. Most of our fans keep their money in a mattress, so they're going to be safe. But you've made me want to go check on my money.
Yes, you
I
should.
always
It might
wanna
be
see
gone.
it, and,
I mean, it's like it's a wonderful life stuff. You're fine though if you have FDIC insurance. Plus, the FDIC, we can go there. It's in the Empire State Building. Is their
Right.
office? So
And we can go there and talk to them.
Well, if stuff doesn't go the right way, then maybe we could pay them a visit. Maybe talk some sense into them.
Pay them a visit.
Correct.
It's ironic because your money is gone.
I know,
and you have
and
nothing
it's all
to pay
gone.
them
Yeah,
with.
I know. Yeah.
Did you watch the Oscars?
No.
I watched parts of it, and
I watched the very end of it.
the very end.
Like I saw the last 3 categories, which is kind of all you really need.
Yes, I mean you're not big on lighting. The movies can't happen without lighting.
I'm
Danny. I don't know
aware.
if you're
I'm
aware of
aware.
it.
Yeah.
Or scores of music
Yeah.
to make you feel.
I like a good score.
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer.
Does it make you feel?
Mm-hmm.
Hans Zimmer is that a composer?
I think so.
Okay. Well, our fans don't know. You
No,
have to
no,
kind
no.
of lay this out for
What
them.
are they?
Hans Zimmer.
They don't even know whoever did like who the composer for like Ernest Goes to.
They might know
Prison?
that.
They might know
They
that.
actually might know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
Big Jim Varney fans crossover.
Okay, let's go to this article, Shannon, because let's find out who is wonderful and who sucks.
Okay, so the article is from the biggest a-hole to the most selfish nominee.
Yes.
So first up
And this is Piers Morgan, right? Saying this stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
So first up, biggest A-list a-hole is Hugh Grant.
And what did he do wrong?
Yeah,
I
what did
feel
he
like we just
snubbed that-
hate the
what's her
British
face?
now because of Meghan and Harry, and we're
Yeah.
all against them now.
Sure.
I mean, this
She's
is
not
a
even
little
British.
Bit, she's not British. She's one of ours, and she's over there now, and they can't stop talking. And it's like,
It's these miracles.
yeah,
They just can't stop.
It's just.
Can't
I
stop
think we're
chatting.
taking it out on him.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
No.
What's that miss when you use your emotions in another projecting? Could we be projecting onto Hugh Grant?
Maybe. I have the video. Do you want to see it and judge for yourself?
Yeah, but what movie was he in? This Boy's Life? That was Robert De Niro.
He's been in a lot of
Julia
stuff,
Roberts.
but it's
Notting Hill.
nothing.
The movie with Julia Roberts that
Hill.
makes you feel something.
Notting Hill.
Notting
Notting
Hill.
Hill.
Thank you, Shannon.
Why
You
is
said it
he-
3 times, and I didn't. And that's the problem in March. Women need to be heard.
Sure. Why is he at the Oscars? Is he in something right now?
So, well, I don't want to
Okay.
I don't want to ruin it.
All right.
gonna
Let's
say, what
see if he
business
is
is
an
he in?
a-hole.
You are a veteran of the Oscars, and you've been here a few times. What's your favorite thing about coming to the Oscars?
Well, it's fascinating. It's the whole of humanity is here. It's Vanity Fair.
Oh, it's all about Vanity Fair. Yes, that's where we let loose and have a little bit of fun. What are you most excited to see tonight?
To see?
Yeah, well, I know that you probably watched a few of the movies. Are you excited to see anybody win? Do you have your hopes up for anyone?
He's
no one in particular.
Okay, well, what are you wearing tonight then?
Oh my God,
Just
this
my
is great.
suit.
Your suit? Who
Yeah.
made your suit? You didn't make it.
I can't remember. My tailor.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to the tailor.
Oh God.
So tell me, what does it feel like to be in Glass Onion? It was such an amazing film. I really loved it. I love a thriller. How fun is it to shoot something like that?
Well, I'm barely in it. I'm in it for about 2 seconds.
You showed up and you had fun, right?
Almost.
All right. Okay. Well,
That's really it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like him. He's taking the piss.
He really doesn't give her anything.
No.
I mean, she is really warm and like a very like trying to like bring him in, but he seemed stumped by the first couple of questions.
I think he just does
I
not.
think he was
they
stumped.
kind of was just some handler was like, you got to go talk to her, and
Right.
he's like,
Yeah, but you don't have anything in your head, which is like, he's like, what's your favorite thing about
he could
tonight?
definitely-
And it's like, he's like, hey, you look terrified. Look at, I don't know.
He's
Gowns. I would just said a word. I would have been like, gowns.
I mean, he could have been civil, absolutely, but
Yeah.
he chose a different route.
Well, the British are they're standoffish,
Is-
except
I
for
know. Sounded
Meghan
like he
and
was-
Harry, who tell us everything that ever happened to them ever.
yeah, sounded like he was taking the piss. Very British.
What's taking the piss? Could you translate it for our
He
fans
just
who are
was talking. He
colonists?
just was being like, "This is stupid." And
Oh, this is stupid.
yeah.
Well, you're there, and you're like, who made your tux? My tailor.
Like remember the Trey?
My plumber made my tux.
Matt and Trey, they did the ultimate taking the piss, where they showed up on acid in women's dresses
Oh wow,
for to blame Canada or whatever.
that's actually heroic.
bringing it back, but
No.
yeah, he just I don't know because I'm like I didn't know he was in anything, and then
He was in that.
I haven't heard from him in a decade.
He was in the
or more.
Netflix something we watched this
Glass
morning.
Onion.
Was
Glass
that
Onion?
No, he was the main guy. He was the husband. I don't want to spoil it for fans who. It was.
They
it
don't
was,
have
it was
Netflix
some
subscription-
It was some
subscriptions.
Netflix. They might steal it.
They're cracking down on that though.
Are they?
Yeah, I just lost mine.
We're not scared. My fans ain't scared.
I just lost mine because they do Canada first, and I had
Yeah.
my mom's password, and so I got the boot.
Well, they should. The boot
The boot.
about
The Gentleman.
I don't say a boot,
Is
but
that the movie?
the gentleman. It was a Netflix. I think Nicole Kidman was in it.
Let me add her name to my search.
Add her name to your search, Shannon.
why don't we just IMDb?
Paddington.
Huh?
Paddington.
Can't remember the name of it. No, you could
Was it
say
good?
to me.
Oh, The Undoing.
The Undoing.
Yes, I remember that. That was great.
It was kind of predictable.
It was really good though.
I thought I was pretty good. But he was in that. Was that this year?
Let me see. Original
Or was
release.
that in the pandemic?
Hold on. It's blocking out the date of the release. Hold on. 2014. Oh,
It's like the Silicon Valley bank scandal all over again.
But
they're
with few
hiding
grads,
the
so what are they? Why? You got to follow the money. Is
right.
Why?
Follow the money
Why are they hiding?
because
it?
they're investing in long-term bonds and crypto.
2020.
okay.
No, so it's not 3 years ago.
Yeah. So
Okay,
that's the last movie.
Maybe
we
she
saw?
should have asked him about that. How about that 3 years ago when you were? I don't want to give it away. Okay. All right. Yes, but he looked less. He looked less angry, and he just looked thrown by everything. He looked thrown.
Is there any scenario where they're like his agents like you gotta go, and he's like I don't want to go, and he's like you have to.
Yeah, but you're there.
Yeah.
What do you think? You're going there to be in private, Danny?
Well, that's what I'm
Are you
saying. Maybe
going
he
there
just
to be
like
by
doesn't. He's
yourself?
like I don't want to go to the Oscars, and I don't want to do it.
Oh my God, these actors are so temperamental.
They are though.
Oh
I don't-
my God, I don't want to
mean,
go to the Oscars.
I would go. Would you go?
Yes, I would go. It's not a contracting job where you're roofing.
Well, he's acting like it kind of is.
God, he is acting. Maybe that's it.
That
Maybe
could be
we
it.
just
Because we're
stumbled upon
talking
it.
about him now.
Yes, and he's gonna be so. It's like he slapped all of
Kind
us.
of. There
with
is really
his-
no such thing as bad publicity.
That's a British slap.
Yeah.
And the standoff, like,
Yeah.
taking a piss, as you said,
Taking a
which
piss.
I don't approve of. But Shannon, let's go to the most another one, the most selfish. Ooh,
Oh, hold on. I don't have that one up next.
Oh.
Wait.
you don't have it up next? Well, go to whatever you have.
Okay. The next one is Donald Trump Award for Sore Loser.
Ooh.
Was Angela Bassett. You can share this picture.
Donald Trump has his own award now? Good for him.
It says
Angela Bassett did not win
she
for Black
lost.
Panther Wakanda.
It says she lost the Best Supporting Actress
She
award
lost
to
it.
Jamie Lee
Great,
Curtis.
great dress though. And I didn't see the new Black Panther, but I did see Everything All the Time, All at Once. And have you seen it?
I have. I saw it in theaters. The last movie I've seen in theaters.
Do you like it?
I thought it was a technically fantastic movie. I just was like, it's just a little too out there.
I did not like it at all.
Yeah,
And
I was
can't
trying to be.
find anybody
I was trying to
who'd
be
agree with me.
diplomatic.
I did not. Everybody loves it. Everybody's
My girlfriend.
obviously
My
it's-
girlfriend hated it.
She hated it.
Yeah,
Sounds like we would get along.
but like it was
when I
cool.
wanted
Like, did
to-
you watch it and you're like, this is cool?
No. I didn't watch it. And I
You
watched
weren't like,
it.
this
and
is a tour de force of filmmaking.
I watched it and I was the beginning setup was fine, and then they were in the elevator and he goes, "I'm somebody different now.
Yeah.
You need to do this, this, and this." It's like, okay, I'm in, and then it's like it just gets more asinine from there.
Yeah.
Where there's no explanation. People just go, they just close their eyes and they're another person in a different place.
Yeah.
And people explain it. They go, "You don't understand the multiverse." I go, "Yeah, you can't just do that, dude."
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of karate for no reason, which is what the name of the movie should be. Karate for no reason. What is that? And then killing someone and then they don't die, they wake back up again. It's like, I'll do that a couple times, but it's like not you can't kill somebody and then they wake up and then they kill somebody and wake up. It just loses it after a while. It's
Yeah.
like, well, they're in another universe now and they're a different person and they have hot dog fingers.
Hot dog
oh my
fingers.
God, hot dog. Like this kitschy,
I agree.
this kitschy thing that people are going to talk about at the water cooler. It's like, no one cares. There's no explanation for it. You're using mindless tricks in order to.
It reminds me of like you ever see like those runway models, like those fashion shows where they're wearing like the craziest thing, and you're like, who the fuck would ever wear that?
Yeah.
This is the movie version of that. This is like just.
Yeah,
it's just so
like
for
it's
the
like
sake
we're in
of,
the office trying to save the business, the IRS bankruptcy, and I thought the acting was great.
Yeah.
The acting was really great.
It's
The
fine.
story, I didn't like. It's like I get confused by it, and people go, "Well, you don't understand multiverse. But you don't understand multiverse movies." Like, no. I can follow a story.
Yeah.
It's just when you just blink your eyes and go, "Blah, I'm gonna know."
I have to agree with you on that. Where I go, this is like it was a gimmick. It was kind of gimmicky. It was
very gimmicky.
but it was the editing and the production was good. I thought.
The production was.
I don't know if
I
it was
thought it was
best,
fine,
I don't know
but
if
it was
the
like
best picture. But
yeah, I mean, people are just talking about it like it moved. It's like, what about the relationship with her and her daughter? It's like, hey, you could have had that a million times stronger without all the karate at the IRS bankruptcy
Plus, if I wanted
office.
a relationship with like a
doing?
woman and her daughter, I'd watch pornography.
For real, a stepdaughter.
Of course.
Please,
It goes without saying.
a little respect
That's-
for our
come on,
Christian
I was-
fans.
Just because the setup there.
Shannon, let's go one last one,
Okay.
and then we'll close out.
Okay, next one is most heartwarming moment, and coincidentally, it is the guy from Everything Everywhere All at Once, hit the star, Ki Hui Kwan.
Okay,
That's definitely not
You're on
right.
dangerous
That was
territory.
that was kind of problematic.
really-
It was
pronunciation.
problematic the way that
was-
you tiptoed around it.
Yeah, I don't know how to say those words.
Okay.
But it said his emotional speech about coming to the United States as a refugee and now living the American dream brought a lump to everybody's throats.
A lump in the throat.
Yeah.
So he was the guy in Everything. He was the guy. He was in Goonies, right?
And Indiana Jones.
And he was in Biodome too, right?
And Biodome.
Biodome. He's great. Like I loved him in Goonies. I watched Goonies back in the 80s, and he was fantastic. And it's great for him, like to be, some of these child stars just are on heroin, which is
I mean,
now
yeah, they're
fentanyl.
like.
But he's great.
Yeah.
Like he's still acting and unbelievable.
most people in his
successful.
position would be dead.
Yes, absolutely.
Or really screwed up.
Yeah,
And
he really made
just
it.
won Best Supporting Actor.
So hats off to him. And the actor, like the acting in that movie was actually very good. It's just I couldn't follow the story at all.
Yeah,
So,
it was. It was fine. I don't
and it
particularly remember any. I don't remember leaving that movie being like anybody had a particularly amazing acting performance.
right.
Also, don't use when they have these like lump in your throat thing with their speech, and you're like, but you're acting. You're an actor. I don't believe
Could be.
I don't believe.
Is that
anything.
real? They're emoting. Is that a word that you?
Yes,
Emoting.
emoting. Yeah,
That's a
in
big-
Canada,
Yeah.
emoting is spelled with a U.
Emoting.
Yeah,
Emoting.
yeah, because we have OU a lot.
I thought all of your emotions were frozen. It's cold.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, I can't thank you enough for joining
My
us,
pleasure.
and especially the Silicon Valley scandal.
Yeah.
And it's mind blowing.
It is honestly a lot to digest.
It's a lot to digest, especially our fans just are constantly.
Luckily,
eating.
they don't have bank accounts, so it's
Yeah,
not really.
they don't have bank accounts. Who's winning now? You guys are.
How are they meant to support the show though without bank accounts? And like they're all
I think they
unbanked?
have to fight Lewis at Skankfest. They pay in teeth. I think. I'm not sure. I don't. I'm not a numbers guy. I just know that we have a sponsor and we have to push through, and it's Yo Delta.
Okay.
Which is fantastic.
I do like that stuff actually.
Yes, it's fantastic, and we just do our thing. We're on the creative side, the creatives. So thank you for coming in. I
Thank you.
appreciate
My
it,
pleasure.
and I hope to see you out in the clubs
Yeah,
soon.
absolutely.
For Shannon, for my guest Danny Polishchuk, I'm Mike Vecchione. We will see you guys next week.